Well, there's now an international manhunt underway for that adult son, 27-year-old Matthew Flores. He went from missing person to prime suspect because police believe he fled the country. They're now asking for the public's help to find him. Here's everything we know at this hour. This all started as a welfare check on Tuesday afternoon at the request of a family member. When officers arrived, no one was at the house, but they found a large amount of blood inside and evidence of an attempt to clean it up at the scene. That indicated foul play. A missing persons investigation was opened, and the search began for the husband, wife, and their adult son. Arizona's family drone footage shows detectives digging with shovels and a mini excavator in the backyard this morning, and we now know they found 2 bodies buried there. Avondale police say these are unidentified remains and are not releasing the names of the missing husband and wife. One neighbor told me the backyard pool was just added last month. Police say they're also processing vehicles looking for evidence in this case, but it's not clear how many or how they may be involved. I spoke with one woman who was behind the crime tape today for a hair appointment. She said her hairdresser runs her business from her home right next door to the crime scene.
She knew them, not that well, but she knew them. She said she's seen them walking, the husband and wife. The son, she thought, had only been there a few months, but he had a lot of friends coming and going.
And here's a look at that suspect, 27-year-old Matthew Flores. Detectives are not calling him a homicide suspect, but say he's a suspect in the missing persons investigation. Avondale police are asking anyone with any information about his whereabouts to give them a call. And I did ask police if Flores has any kind of criminal history or mental health history, and they wouldn't say. Officers also would not clarify if he lived here with his parents, but they did say that he was expected to be here when they did that welfare check.
Michaela, do we know how long those bodies were buried in the backyard?
No, that's not clear at this time. Police would not specify that. All they could say is that both bodies were in a state of decomposition, but it's not clear how long they have been buried in the backyard. Police also would not specify how long the husband and wife have been missing, just saying that they got that first call for a welfare check on Tuesday afternoon.